Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here today. We're going to look at why there is no Big Bang. It's impossible for a Big Bang to explain the origins of the universe. Now, one of the things in talking to different people who do believe in a Big Bang or whatever, there are people out there that say, well, it's no longer called the Big Bang, it's called the expansive theory, it's called something else. Well, you know what I mean, and it's basically the same theory with possible nuances involved. But so they would say, well, the Big Bang isn't even a explanation for origins because we don't know what came before the Big Bang. Now, of course, you had the, Fred Boyle's, the steady state theory was kind of the in theory, and Chandra with Ramsing. Before that, the Big Bang's kind of in vogue right now as an alternative to supernatural creation. And one of the funny things is somehow the reasoning occasionally from evolutionists say, well, since evolution occurred and special creation did not occur, whatever was necessary for evolution to occur is what happened, even if we don't have proper explanations for it now. In other words, they have to accept it by faith, which is the reason it comes across as a religion with shunnings, with heresy trials, with so many hallmarks of extreme fundamentalist religion. But let's look at why the Big Bang could not possibly have happened. First of all, where did the initial particle for the explosion come from? Well, there's no explanation, none, for that. And then how could many quadrillion of light years worth of planets, stars, other things made up of different things be contained in something microscopic, regardless of the forces of engineering that were used to push it together? What was the mechanism for the explosion? What was the mechanism for the explosion realistically? Once the explosion, and by the way, what was surrounding, where was this microscopic particle? This, what they formerly called the primeval atom. Now it's called something else. And people will ridicule you because it's the same thing, but you called it something that was called 20 years ago. Where was it? What surrounded it? Where was existence? How did this come to be? How did matter come to be? So it's there. Where? In space. Well, then where did space come from? What held it together? Where was it? Was it floating? Floating where? See, just so many crazy stuff. So, okay, the explosion supposedly happens. We know it didn't happen, but the explosion happens. Things are hurtling through space at the speed of light, maybe beyond the speed of light, maybe the speed of light. Scientists' proposition was actually slower during the primeval atom stage, or different anyhow. Okay, so let's just take our own solar system, for example. Gases don't coagulate in open space. So how did the sun come into being? Where did the chemical processes that constitute the sun come into to be? Where, if supposedly the planets, the 9, 10, or 8 planets, depending on your flavor of the day, and Planet X and all this, Pluto, I think in Kansas they passed a law saying Pluto has to be called a planet. But be that as it may, I think it's a planet. Never said it wasn't. Where did the materials for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, the asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto come from? Because they are different than the gaseous substance that the sun's made out of. And we don't even know where those gases came from. We don't know how they coagulated together. We don't know how the gravitational forces work. And we don't know how the hydrogen explosions come about from nothing, except God did it. Design normally implies a designer. You got to give it that. The camera you're looking at me on was designed, hello, and or the telephone, there was a design there. So there's no explanation, rational explanation for any of those things. There's no explanation for spiral galaxies, because gaseous substances just don't work that way. There's no way stars could be formed. There's no way with heat water could be formed. It's impossible. And then when you just go through the food chain, there's no evidence in the geological record. There's no missing links. I mean, there's missing chains. There's no missing links found. We don't find half-formed animals walking around today. We don't find third-formed. We don't, complex organisms like the eye, the back, the endocrine system, these type things. They could not have evolved. Of course, God created microevolution within our DNA to adapt to certain things. You can have dogs. You can geneticize dogs from Great Danes and Australian Wolfhounds to poodles and these type things. They're still dogs and they still procreate within the species. But so there's microevolution, but there's no macroevolution. There's genetic walls, as a matter of fact, set up where these things can't happen. So, and then if somehow something evolved, what would it eat? How did it survive? And then once things started coming where they had to procreate, where did the male and its reproductive system and the female and its totally different reproductive system, but perfectly receptive of the male reproductive system, where did they come from? Where did the female come from? Of every species. You see, evolution is just a fairy tale for children. The Big Bang could not have happened. You need to quit trying to marry the Bible and modern science. Just let the Bible speak what the Bible wants to speak. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I know the appeal is to always want to fit in with the world. You're not. Don't let the world fit you into its mold. The Big Bang never happened, other than the fact God said, and bang, it happened. That's the only Big Bang out there. I pray you'll just keep reading the scriptures, look at the heavens, and know God designed the heavens and the earth. God bless you today. Worship your Creator in the days of your youth.